Hi lovelies! Welcome to Managing My Money with Rosa. Today I am going to set up my June monthly bills. This is where I sit down and I look at exactly what those recurring bills are, plan them out, figure out how much I'm going to need, the dates they're due, and all that other stuff. If you're new here, thanks so much for stopping by. I'd really appreciate if you would take a second and hit subscribe down below. My channel is about my personal budgeting journey. I look at my monthly bills, I look at weekly budgets, I also look at my debt, I do a little bit of investing, and this is all about my personal journey. If any of that sounds of interest to you, I'd really appreciate if you take a second, hit subscribe down below. If you are a subscriber, thank you. I appreciate so much that you're willing to come back and spend a little bit more of your time with me. So as I set everything up, I bought a journal to track everything in. I spent about $7 on a rather expensive journal for myself, and the hopes that I would be a little bit more committed to looking at all of my budget. In the past, I have only ever really looked at my monthly bills that were due, wrote down when I paid them, and that's all I really paid attention to. And I never really knew where any of my money was going other than that. January, well, I started doing sinking funds and cash funds roughly 2 years ago. I have thoroughly enjoyed them. I have made my own envelopes. I have a video for that. There will be a card up in the corner. I'll also have a link down below. I also started savings challenges, and then January of this year, I came to realize I had absolutely no idea where my money was going, so I also began to do a monthly or a weekly spending plan so that I could see where my money was going. So these are my examples. So because I wasn't certain exactly what I wanted to track, what I wanted to do, I went ahead and just am doing things in a composition book, basically. I haven't bought into somebody's plan just yet. Kind of set my ways on some of the things that I like to do, never certain if there are going to be enough spaces on anything, so I put everything into, it's always been a cheap spiral bound composition, and now I've upgraded to a much nicer, thicker composition book. So I look at what is due. Now these are my recurring bills. I have a budgeted amount, and then I come in, and when I do pay it, I come in and I write down the date and how much I actually paid, because sometimes it's a little bit different than what was budgeted. So the first bill that we have is due on the 1st of every month, and that is our mortgage. We currently pay $1,150. I anticipate this is going to go up just a little bit in July or August. We are on a variable interest rate. It can never go up more than 1% in a year. And with interest rates rising, I have a feeling this is going to go up just a tad. On the 14th, we pay an RV. Now this comes out of my husband's check. When we bought the RV, that was the deal. It would always come out of his check, but I do put it down here because it is a recurring monthly bill. Recently, I got a new car, so that is now on here, and it is $370. I have a student loan, which at the present moment is deferred, so there is not a date on here. We will see if it gets lifted. Also, we will see, I have been accepted into a doctoral program with one of the universities I work at, so I have a feeling this is going to continue to be on hold for a little bit longer, but I still like to think about it and put it in here because I don't want to forget that that is part of my bills. On the 12th, the credit card is officially due. However, I use my credit card to my advantage. I make many payments throughout the month on my credit card so that I never carry a balance, and I don't typically ever owe them interest. Every now and then I'll miss the date by accident and I'll have to pay interest. I make sure it's all paid off, excuse me, for the next time that it's due, because my goal is to never pay interest. I know that I paid interest once this year to them. I think it was around $10. Shame, shame, shame on me. And I try really hard not to ever let that happen. So right now we're back down to that zero, yay! But I make multiple payments on it every month. The 17th, Our car insurance is due, and that right now is around $400. I think it's a little bit less, not a whole lot, but close to that $400 mark, so we're going to put 400 in. The 29th is when my electric is officially due. Now, my electric is the only variable expense on this list, meaning that it fluctuates month to month. I always budget $250 for my electric. It doesn't mean it's always $250. A lot of times it's less than that. Just depends. Anything extra, I then split up between some of my sinking funds or my cash funds. Just depends on what I need that extra money for. The 30th, we have our cell phones are due, and that is $140. And then the 25th, our youngest wasn't old enough to have a phone when we bought our cell phones, and when my husband went to go get our youngest, a cell phone plan, he just got him a cheap little phone. I can't speak all of a sudden. And it's an extra $30 a month. And then on the 15th, we have Wi-Fi that comes due. It is $90. It's a little bit less than that, but I go ahead and budget a little bit more. It keeps me a little safe on stuff. And then the 17th of every month, I have a Juice Plus bill, and that is $54 for a total of bills for $2,094. And as I go through and I pay them this month, I will put the date and how much I actually paid for it. Now the mortgage is like $11.49 and some change. I do go ahead, round up, and pay that $11.50. But as a whole, I typically only pay what's due on something. So when, for example, the cell phone is $140, I want to say it runs like $137. That's what I pay. Our youngest, the cell phone is $30, though I put $30 in the budget. I want to say it's only like $27 or $28. That's really what I pay. Those extra couple of dollars just stay in the account. Makes me so happy. All right, next up, we need some paydays. I like to track when my husband and I are getting paid. Typically, we both get paid twice a month. I get paid on the 1st and the 15th. And then my husband gets paid twice, and his paydays this time are the 10th and the 24th. All right. And then I also have goals that I like to put down. Let's find something that I like for goals. Nope, I don't like any of those. Sometimes I write on top of things that I don't like. Oh, let's see. Oh, we have one that kind of, yep, that matches that color, doesn't it? Yep, sure does. All right. So let's put our goals over here. I think goals are important. They help me stay focused. Excuse me. And they let me know, am I reaching the things financially that I want to be reaching? So these are all kinds of different types of goals. I start with savings. My goal is to put $25 from my check into savings and $15 from my husband's check into savings, and that's twice a month. That's for each of our paychecks. And then I put a quick little chart over here so that I can come in and put the dates that I actually transfer it into savings. Debt pay down. So for a while, I was actually putting money into a high interest savings account and putting it towards retirement stuff. We are creeping up on retirement age. We still have roughly 20 more years, but still it's getting pretty close. And then I came to realize that what I'm earning in interest is nowhere near what I'm paying in interest on some of the debt. So we've kind of changed things up a little bit. So now we're paying extra on our debt pay down. And for the month, my goal is to pay $120 out of my checks, and out of my husband's check, the goal is to put $5 from both of his paychecks. So I will still draw the little chart over here. This will look different when I do go to fill it in, depending on how much I put in on the first, I'll write here, and then the second of the month, the second paycheck of the month, I'll put here with the goal of having a total of $120 coming out of my check. We're working on paying the RV down a little bit faster. Last month, got so lucky, had some extra stashed money, ended up putting $1,000 down on it. Oh, makes me feel so much better, especially considering we just picked up a new car payment and a new chunk of debt. So trying really hard to get some of that debt just gone. I also have a goal for investing. Now, this investing goes into my dividend positions. I currently put $25 from each of my checks into growing each of my dividend positions. And then at the end of the month, I'm going to look and see if I have brought my debt down. At least $1,000 is the goal this month. Oh, I only put 100, silly me. And knowing that the mortgage, the RV, the Mazda, the student loan, which I'm really not paying anything on, and then although it's not part of my bills, I also take in my daughter's car payment or car because it's on my credit, although she takes care of that bill. The goal is to bring all of those down at least $1,000. And then I am a note person. I need these to help me keep on track. Have I done what I was supposed to do? So my daughter actually gives us some money for some different things. So she is old enough to be out of the house, grown, has her own house, but when she got her car, we co-signed on the loan for her, so it's kind of in my name. And just because it was convenient, we used to have a truck payment, and the truck and her car were both through the same lender, so it was real easy for me to just go in and take care of the payments at the same time. So because of that, I've just kind of continued, although I no longer have the truck payment, I just continued to go ahead and make her car payment. So that is $300 a month for the car. And then she also gives us money for her car insurance, and that's $160 for her car insurance. So between those two, those are things that I always try to pull out, and I like to track and note when I do those things so I can say, yes, done. And then I also, because I'm a saver, I've also been trying to help her get her savings up. So because of that, I have actually started to take $50 from each of her paychecks. She gets paid on the 1st and the 15th. And I've begun to take $50 and move that over into her savings account. Now, I know you're like, you're on her account. Yes, I am. When she originally got her accounts, she was a minor, so I was attached to them. We are still in the same bank, and because of that, I'm still on her account, which makes it really convenient when I need to get her car money or her insurance money. I can just transfer it over. I always say, hey baby, do you mind if I do that before I just move any money over? So she knows it's coming, but it's just a way for me to be able to get things in and out. If we go out somewhere or I get something for her and she's like, oh mom, I'll pay for that, I can move it over. Or if I'm like, oh, will you get this off of Amazon, because I don't have an Amazon Prime account, but she does. She's, yeah, sure mom, I'd love to order that. Next thing you know, it shows up at my house, and then I can take it out of my account and just transfer it into hers. We don't ever have to worry about Cash App or any of those types of things. So it's really convenient and really nice that we're connected so that I can do these things for her without any questions. So those are my bills for the month, and this is how I like to set up my plan for what's going on with them. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask down below. If I have added something wrong or spelled something wrong, let me know. Spelling is not my thing. However, I do love numbers, but numbers don't always like me, and sometimes I don't write them right. So if you have any questions, please let me know. If you have not already, please take a second, smash that thumbs up button, and I hope you have a great day. Bye, guys.